Hey y'all, happy Thursday. For those of you who have been hanging out with me during the week, you know we've been going live every night at 8 o'clock Eastern, talking about how to turn your expertise into an online empire. And so this is my fourth live video this week. And as you can see, I'm all bright-eyed and bushy-tails because this is my favorite thing to do. So today I wanted to kind of flow into along with what we've already been talking about each night at 8 o'clock Eastern. We've been talking all things building an online business. And so I want to kind of go off of some of the things that we covered last night when I taught on the big picture of building your online business. So today we're going to talk about visibility because visibility is so important for growing your business. And I think that visibility is one of the reasons why so many entrepreneurs struggle. And a lot of times they think, oh, it's a problem with sales or it's a problem with this. And really, it's a visibility problem. So, we're going to dive into some ways to level up your visibility without you needing to spend money. So, we're going to talk about all organic, right? And for those of you who have been hanging out, you know that organic means you're not spending money on advertisement. So, I'm going to give you some organic ways to level up your visibility. So, if you don't know me, my name is Shanta Prince. I work with high achieving women. I help them to turn their expertise into an online empire, and that's the short version. So, one of my favorite things to do with my clients is really take their passions, their gifts, the things that they want to do, and how they want to help the people that they're called to serve, and I help them to create programs, workshops, offers that they can sell, and then I teach them how to sell it. And so I'm really passionate about helping women make money by just being who God has already designed them to be, not needing another degree because I'm one of those people who I'm always in somebody's school. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about going back to school to get my doctorate degree. So I love school, so I'm not knocking school. But what I have found is that many times those things keep people from moving forward because they feel like they need another degree or they need another certification. And really, all you need is an offer that you can sell, and you need a sales strategy to help you sell that offer. And so that's what I do in essence. And so today, this is one of the topics that I teach my clients is how to get more visibility. So let's talk about what visibility is. So when I say visibility, I basically mean being seen specifically by your ideal client, your audience, getting in front of your audience, getting in front of your people. Because what happens when you get in front of your people is you grow your audience, all right? When you get in front of your people, your audience grows, okay? People get excited about you. They see what you're doing and hear what you're talking about, and they get excited about you, and they want to come and find you and join your online space. And so visibility, I believe, is one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs are facing online. They don't know how to get out from where they are and be seen so that people can buy their products and enroll in their program. So the thing is, and I say this all the time, you can have the best product on this planet, but if people don't know that or if they can't find you, you're going to have a really hard time trying to sell something. And so you got to have a visibility strategy. So the first thing is when it comes to your visibility, you need to have a plan. And your plan is going to be according to what your goals are and how you want to grow. And we'll talk about some of the things to include in your plan. So first, before we get into what to include in your plan, let's talk about some ways that you can get more visibility. And y'all, this is like the stuff that we're getting ready to talk about is stuff that you can start doing today. Okay. Now, I do have an event coming up in Atlanta. I've been talking about this all week. I have an in-person event coming up in Atlanta. It's a 2-day business intensive. And so I want to help you to make money. Okay. The whole goal of this intensive is to help you make money. So you walk away with knowing the things that show you how to make money. And one of the things that I'm going to be teaching at this event in person is how to actually go and pitch to podcasts and speaking engagements and things like that so that you can get booked. And when you get booked, that increases your visibility because you're going to be getting on other people's stages whether they're in-person stages or virtual stages. So the first thing, one organic way to increase your visibility is to get booked on podcasts. And we talked about this a little bit last night when I was given the big picture of what it takes to really build an incredible business. And so if you're getting booked on podcasts on a regular basis, listen, podcasting is so powerful. And really, let me just tell you, for those of us who listen, hey, Carmen, I love that. Hi, boss coach Shanta. I love that. Thank you, Carmen. So one of the things about like podcasts, you guys, is that like there's just a different kind of people who listen to podcasts. So like we're just a different kind of people. So people who listen to podcasts, they're usually people who are very serious about their personal development, and they're usually people who are likely to invest. And so when you get booked on these podcasts, you're just tapping into a whole different type of person. Okay. And so if let's say you're popping up on somebody's podcast every single week, imagine the people that will be coming to join your groups and sign up for your free offers, joining your email list, signing up for your launches. Getting booked on podcasts can be very powerful. I love this, Carmen. Carmen says podcast guesting is a goal for me this year. I love that. That's going to be awesome for you. Because I think, when I watch your TED Talk, I was like, oh my goodness, I feel like you're a gem. And once you start getting booked, I don't think you're going to have any issues with drawing in the right people. So that's the thing. When you're getting booked on podcasts, you want to get booked on podcasts who are already gathering your audience. What podcasts do your people listen to? Where are they gathering at? You want to get in on podcasts that are attracting your ideal clients. And when you get booked, people are going to come find you. They will come find you. They'll say, oh my goodness, that was so good. Where can I connect with this person? I cannot tell you how many people I've seen or heard on someone else's platform. And I immediately start looking for books. Like, has this person written any books? Do they have a YouTube channel? I want more of what they're offering. This is what happens when you're getting booked on other people's platforms. Another thing is when I talk about like having a plan, you have to have a plan for how many podcasts you want to get booked on, how many pitches you need to send out. All of those things flow together to keep you booked consistently. You guys, podcast guesting alone is a very powerful visibility strategy. Very powerful visibility strategy, but you got to be diligent with it and just get your system down. Get your system down for how frequently you're sending out these pitches and how you're getting these on your calendar. You could even, one of the things when I taught this to my clients, one of the things that we talked about was I just encourage them to try it a few times, get themselves booked a few times. And if they really want to, they could hire somebody like a VA to pitch for them. So that's another thing that you could do. You could be at work. If you work a full-time job, you could be at work and your VA could be pitching podcasts for you, getting you booked on podcasts. And you can pay them however many hours you want them to work on it a week. It can be an hour a week. It can be 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, whatever you can pay them for to just get you booked. And so they'll just, you can give them your calendar and they can do the work, get you booked, get you scheduled, and all of that. And you just show up when it's time to show up and do your thing. And so that right there is one powerful visibility strategy. And I think this is something that I wish I knew sooner in my business career. I really wish it was something that somebody had told me sooner, because when I was first getting started, I really didn't know how to get out, how to get seen, how to increase my visibility. So it took me a lot of, it took a lot for me to learn. The stuff that I teach you guys is gold. It took me a very long time to learn some of this stuff. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I teach, because it doesn't have to take you as long as it took me, right? If I can help you to get there faster, I'm here for it. I'm living for it, to get you there faster, to help you cut through all of the nonsense, cut through all of the mistakes that I made so you can get there faster. But this is definitely something that I wish I knew sooner. And still, you guys, I still think it's something that not a lot of people realize or understand, that, listen, you can run a powerful visibility and marketing strategy by just focusing in on getting yourself booked. There are so many podcasts out there, y'all. Like so many. And so in addition to podcasts, there are also people who do like live YouTube shows. Um, People who do, I found somebody a few months ago, they do a live Facebook show every week and they have a really nice audience. So every week they go live on Facebook with a guest and they have people who are attentive, people who are tuned in, people who are watching. So those count as well, where you can the same way you would pitch a podcast is the same way you would pitch for somebody's virtual video show. You can also use the same strategy to pitch yourself for paid speaking engagements. Same thing. As long as you have your speaker fee set and you're ready to negotiate, you can do this, use the same techniques that you use to get booked for podcasts to book yourself for some paid speaking engagement. So that's a whole nother stream of income that not only does getting yourself booked for paid speaking engagements, you get paid from the engagement, but guess what? You're probably going to have some clients in the audience. You're probably going to have some people who are going to see you on stage and say, I want to work with her. I want to work with him. How do I get in this person's program or whatever it is they're offering? And so that's another way to generate some income. So that's something to consider as well. Now, I usually encourage people to get to take a speaker's fee when they go to speak on someone's events or on someone's stage. However, if you are, if you feel like, okay, you know what, I need to take this one for free. If you want to take it for free because you're like, okay, I'm still trying to work on my visibility. And another thing too is if they let you pitch, some places they're like, well, this is not a paid event, but you can pitch your program. That's great too, because if they're drawing the audience and you can get on stage and you can speak and then you could talk about your program, that is a plus because you're going to get paid anyway because you're going to get some clients. Carmen says one podcast guest appearance led to being a co-author on an upcoming book. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody noticed you on that podcast and was like, oh my goodness, I need more of her. She needs to be a part of this thing. And that's the beautiful thing about getting booked is that it also leads to other opportunities as well. I've been to speaking engagements where I speak and then I finish and then somebody in the audience is like, I got an event coming up. Can you speak at my event too? And so they can lead to other bookings as well. So that's one really powerful way to establish your expertise because you're getting visibility, but you're also building authority. And what's going to happen is the more you're doing these, you're going to keep building your authority, and that's going to lead to continue to lead to more opportunities and possibly bigger opportunities, like what Carmen is talking about. Like one podcast guest led to her becoming a co-author. That is incredible, and congratulations on that, Carmen. That's huge. So podcast guesting, number one, okay, and that is what I recommend to my clients and teach them how to do that so that they can get visibility in a way that's is building their brand. Like they're getting the visibility, but they're also building authority and building a brand. They're building their track record. A lot of times when I'm in a booking process, sometimes people will ask me, well, hey, do you have links to other podcasts that you've been on? And I'm like, absolutely, I got plenty. Like, so I can send that track record comes in handy sometimes depending on the podcast. Now, some podcasts may not ask you for that, but some may say, hey, we want to make sure you're a good fit. Do you have any links to any other podcasts that you've done? And I'm able to send them that because of the track record that I've built. Okay. So it's not just, it's so much bigger, y'all. Like it's so much bigger than just being on a podcast. There's so many other things that come along with being a frequent podcast guest. Okay. But one of the biggest thing is you usually you're attracting quality people. And when I say quality, I mean people that line up with what you offer. They line up with your brand. They line up with your message. And so, so a quality a quality connection for me may not be a quality connection for you because maybe that person lines up more with what I do than what you do. So, and vice versa, a quality person for you may not be a quality person for me. So when I say quality, I'm just trying to make it clear that I don't mean the person themselves. I mean, how well do they line up with what you do? How well are they in? How well do they line up with your brand? And that's what we want. We want people who are interested in what we're doing and with what we're offering, because We want them to eventually become paying clients. So podcasting is one. This is all organic. Another way to increase your visibility is by engaging on social media platforms. This is one that's kind of slept on. Now, if you're running ads, that's a whole different ball game. So if you have the revenue to run ads, that's a really fast way to increase your visibility. But like I said the other night, I usually encourage ads once you got your systems in place so that you're not wasting money. You want to have your systems in place and have your sales system together and have your offer that's actually selling before you start running ads so that you can get a return on your ad spend. Okay. If you don't have anything to sell, it could be tough for you to get a return on your ad spend. But like I said before, there are some ways. There's some other ways that you can do things. I one time I ran some ads for something. And I started realizing something because I used to just spend my money out of pocket, like out of my spend my own money to run ads. But then I realized I'm like, wait a minute, like why don't I create a digital product to pay for my ads? And that is what I did. I ran the ads and I created a digital product. And every time someone bought the digital product, that was paying for my ads. So I was able to pay for my ads with the digital product instead of paying directly out of my own pocket or out of my business income. So that was beautiful. So that's what I mean by like there are some ways to get around that, but most of the time, my clients they're looking for clients right away. And sometimes with the kind of ads that I was just talking about, sometimes it takes a little time to dial that in and get it working to where it's bringing you a really nice income. So here's a way that you can get around that. Yes, it takes a little bit more time, okay? But if you're engaging on your ideal clients' content and on other people's content who are attracting your ideal clients, you'll be surprised at how much visibility that can draw. But with this one, you guys, it takes time and you got to be consistent. See, the thing is, y'all, to be honest, when I first started my business, I had more time than money. And sometimes you just in that place, and this is for everybody. Like when you're starting out, many times you have more time on your hands than money. When you have more time than money, sometimes you got to, get down and do the things that you need to do, such as some of the stuff that we're talking about. But then once you start making more money, you can bring people on to do things for you, and that can work very nicely as well. But the thing is, the reason why I encourage my clients to try things for themselves is at least to get an idea of how it works so that when you do bring somebody on, you know enough about that thing to know, are they doing a good job? Are they doing this properly? Is this bringing the kind of results? And you also know enough to guide them, because if somebody is joining your team, you have to be able to teach them and guide them in the right direction so that they can be able to do the things that you need them to do. So if you know how to pitch yourself, you can turn that over to somebody else. Um, you don't necessarily have to know how to run ads, but you need to at least know enough to know, okay, is this person that I hired doing a good job? I've seen so many people spend money on an ads manager and it doesn't work out because they don't even know enough to know if that person is doing a good job. And before they realize that this person is doing, by the time they realize that person isn't doing a good job, they're already out of a lot of cash. They're already deeply invested, and they have possibly wasted so much money that could be hard to come back from. When you're just starting out, when you're a small business, we don't have that kind of money to just be thrown away when you're starting out. And I think this for any business, like every single penny counts. Like we need all of our coin, right? And so you gotta use wisdom. But I'm telling you, don't let these advertisements and stuff you see make you feel like you can't succeed unless you spend money on ads. That is absolutely not true. It just takes time. But if you have, let's say you got 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day is a lot to put towards your business if you have that kind of time. Actually, y'all, an hour a day. If you put an hour a day in your business, I'm telling you, you'll be so successful. If that hour is focused, if you're focused on the right things, you guys, you do not have to be in front of the computer 24 hours a day for you to be successful. If you work for an hour a day and yet that hour is really focused, you will be so surprised at what you can accomplish in one focused hour a day on your business. Carmen says, ladies, listen to Shanta and follow up on the goals she is sharing. You will. Thank you so much, Carmen. I appreciate that so much. So you guys, so if you set aside some time, whatever platform you're on, if it's LinkedIn, if it's Instagram, if it's Facebook, if you set aside some time and you go engage on your ideal clients, they don't even have to know you. I've done this on LinkedIn a lot of times where I'll go engage on my ideal clients content every day. And guess what happens? Eventually they'll be like, oh, I see her all the time. And they follow me because they see me every day. They see my name pop up every day. If you take that time out and you just say, you know what, I'm setting this aside time to go and engage with my people. You're building trust. You're establishing yourself as an authority. They're thinking about you when they need that help. You are a real person. I always say this. People connect better with other people than they do with a logo. This is why I always encourage my clients, don't make your profile picture a logo. Put your face on there so people can connect with you as a person. That is one of the advantages that we have over some of these big companies, is that they can connect directly with an actual person and engage with us. And that goes a long way when you want people to pay you for your services. Okay. So if you set aside time, whatever time you have, what I'm saying is, whatever time you have, use it wisely. So if you work a full-time job, and let's say maybe you got that 1 hour a day. Carmen says that hour a day has been working with me. Yes, I'm so glad, Carmen. I have been talking about that for a minute. Like, listen, y'all, 1 hour a day. If that's all you got, get that 1 hour in and just be excited about it and motivated. Don't feel like, I'm telling you, some people have more time and they don't get as much done as one person who's working with that one focus hour. You can work alongside somebody who's been working for 3 hours, and if you're focused for your 1 hour, you will get more done. And when I say that time that you set aside, you have to treat it like your life depends on it, because actually your life does. The quality of your life will change when you start showing up and being consistent and keeping the commitment to yourself. If you say, I'm going to take an hour every Tuesday night and work on my social media, keep the promise to yourself, keep the commitments to yourself. And sometimes, ladies, to be honest, sometimes we have to rebuild trust with ourselves. Sometimes we blame ourselves for things. And I always say, listen, while you're forgiving everybody else, forgive yourself too, because sometimes, believe it or not, we hold things against ourselves sometimes. Like, you can try, let's say you try a launch and the launch doesn't go well. You may kind of secretly hold that against yourself, and it may hinder you for going to do another launch because you're like, oh my goodness, I failed that first launch was such a fail. Listen, forgive yourself and dust yourself off and get back out there and try it again. So sometimes we gotta like forgive ourselves too, so that we can fully show up for ourselves. Keep the commitment to yourself, because what happens is, when you start keeping a commitment to yourself, you start learning, you know what? I could bet on myself. I could bet on what God has put in me, right? We already know that God has given us everything that we need to be successful. And if he's in us, we cannot fail, right? And so when you say, you know what, I trust myself. Like I keep my commitments. I've worked with clients who just told me, just one of my clients said, I don't want to create a program because I'm afraid that I won't be able to be consistent. So basically she said, I don't want to offer a program because I might not show up on time. And I'm like, listen, I'm not about to let you use that as an excuse, right? You're going to get this program together and you're going to show up and serve your people and you're going to be excited about it. And she did. She put the program together and she started taking clients, because that was important for her to change her family dynamic. She talked about how she was working such long hours that her children were starting to feel like, Mom, like, come on. And I said, we don't want your children to resent your business, because they're going to come to see it as, this business always takes mommy away all the time, right? I said, we don't want them to resent your business. We want them to be excited for your business. We want them to say, oh, mommy's got to work. Let's be quiet for an hour while she's doing her thing, right? We want them to be like that because we want them to understand that the business provides great opportunities for the family, right? And so your life, that hour that I was talking about, like your life, the quality of your life and your family's life are depending on you keeping the commitment to yourself and showing up and saying, you know what, I'm gonna show up every single day and do what I have to do no matter what. Like I told you guys how my last week's live video was thrown off because I had this virtual conference and the times got mixed up and we had technical difficulties, y'all. Like it was so much going on. We all rolled with the punches though. Like we got the job done, but we anytime technical difficulties come up, you just got to roll with the punches, right? And so that's what we did. But so what happened was I didn't get to go live when I was supposed to. So guess what I did? When I could go live, I went live. And it ended up being at 6 o'clock at night. And I was like, you know what? There's no way I'm gonna go and serve these other people and not serve my people. I was like, I'm still gonna go live and teach my content that I had planned to teach today. And so that's what I did. It was 6 hours late, but I still showed up and I served my people because I'm like, I'm like, I've been rolling through these technical difficulties, serving, somebody else's audience, which I'm still very grateful for. I'm not knocking the opportunity out. It was a beautiful opportunity. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm just not gonna serve my people. I'm like, I gotta show up and serve my people too. And so that's what I mean by like keeping the commitment to yourself. If you say, I'm going to show up at this time, every week, then you keep the commitment to yourself unless you absolutely cannot. Okay. So I still go live. Even if I'm not feeling the best, I will still hit that live button. If it I I have a commitment. And so I've told myself I'm going live unless I absolutely cannot. And so there's a every now and then something important comes up unexpected and I'll tell you guys on the live, I'll say, hey, listen, this is a live replay of a pre-recorded show. I can't be with you today, but here's one of my favorite sessions that I've done. And I'll usually go into some of my old videos and pull one of my favorite ones out. And I'll say, hey, you guys, I can't be live with you today, but here's one of my favorite sessions. Okay. But other than that, I'm here, right? That is a commitment that I have. And one time I told you guys about this one too. One time I had been trying to get in with this hairstylist for forever. She's just brilliant. And you guys, finally I was able to get in with her, but guess what? The appointment was when I'm supposed to be here and I did not take it. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, the appointment that she happened to have open was on a Thursday when I needed to be live. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't do that. And so I passed that opportunity up. Why? Because I have a commitment. And y'all, when you're building a business, you have to be committed like that. You got to be relentless about what you said you're going to do. Even if you didn't announce it openly, but if you said it to yourself that I'm going to do this, I'm going to show up, I'm going to be consistent with this thing. You show up, you do it, you fight for your consistency until it becomes so ingrained in you that you don't have to fight for it anymore. So, for example, one of the things that I do is I try to, I burn a certain amount of calories every day, and I work to get my 10,000 steps in a day. But at first, it was like a struggle to like stay with it. But now, because I fought for the consistency of it, I don't even think about it anymore. I just get it done. Like it's not even a struggle anymore. But most people won't fight through that struggle part to get to the part where it just becomes a habit and you just do it. It's just like when you get up and you take a shower and you brush your teeth and all the things that you do in the morning. It's just like that. It becomes habitual to where you're not even really thinking about it. You're just getting it done. That's how you want to be with your business stuff. You want to fight through that initial time of like being consistent, and you want to get to the point where it's just a habit. Like you just get it done. It's habitual, it's systematic, you're getting things done, but not so habitual and systematic that you're not enjoying the process, right? We still want to have fun, we still want to enjoy the process, but that's what you got to be able to do. So if you're taking an hour, and let's say you take an hour a week to pitch, right? And let's say your next hour a week, you're spending time just really engaging. But really, I think you need more than an hour a week for engagement. I think you need a little bit of time every day or at a minimum every other day, to just set aside a time, set some time aside to purposely, intentionally go engage on your ideal clients. If it's somebody that you want to work with, comment, read their posts, give some good feedback. And I don't mean just like, hey, that's a good post. I mean like something meaningful. And then you won't feel rushed because you set this time aside, right? That's a great way to get visibility, because guess what? Not only do they see your comment, their followers and connections see the comment as well. And so that's one thing, engaging on your ideal clients content. Another thing is engaging on a person who's gathering your ideal clients as well. And I talk about this in our 8 o'clock training series that we have going on. How, so for example, I've discovered that a lot of my clients, my ideal clients, they go to John Maxwell's coaching trainings. And so the thing is, I haven't been through the any of his trainings, but I wonder if it teaches sales or if it just focuses on teaching them how to coach. And I say that because a lot of I've drawn in a lot of people from those programs who they're ready to like make money. So I don't know how detailed it goes into actual like teaching how to sell and things like that. But here's the thing, y'all, like when you make an investment, you got to think about what you need next. So for example, if you invested in something, and now you're like, for example, I have 2 life coaching certificates, but I didn't learn how to sell with those certificates. I just got the certification. So now I'm like, okay, once I got those, I'm like, okay, now I need to figure out like how to close sales and stuff like that. Your next investment, I want you to think about, how is this investment? Is this investment going to teach me how to make money? Because that's what I need right now, right? And I was in that place where I'm like, okay, like I got these certifications, but like, how do I actually make money? How do I close a sale? How do I do a launch, right? When I'm talking about investing, I'm talking about like, you got to think like an investor. Like, what am I getting out of this? Okay. And that's one of the things I'm always um, trying to make sure when people invest on me, I want them to understand, listen, don't see this like, and let me tell you, I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but one of the things that I see quite often is people say things like, oh, you know what, I really can't pay for that right now, or they have these reasons why they're not investing. But let me tell you why I think that is. I think a lot of times when it's an investment like business coaching, it's a struggle to invest because you're so used to investing in things that don't make you money that you feel like this is just another thing that doesn't make you money. And so that's why I teach the way that I teach, because I'm like, listen, I'm ready to I want to help you make money. So that's why, like we talked about the other night, I said, the first thing that I do with my clients is I help them to create an offer so they can start making money right away. Like we don't have to wait 6 months for you to start making money. We could jump in and start making you money right away. So when you think about your next investment, specifically look for, how is this going to help me to make money? Because at the end of the day, you guys, we're entrepreneurs. If we're called to business, we're also called to be profitable. So you got to make sure that whatever your next investment is, you make sure it's something that's going to help you to be profitable. Okay. Because honestly, I believe that the ladies that I work with are already incredible. And we already have the certifications and the trainings and the degrees and the all the things, right, that make us who we are. But now it's time to learn how to make money, how to close those sales, how to hit that first 6 figures, how to hit that first 7 figures. That's the kind of stuff that we need to be learning and implementing now, not staying stuck in a cycle of learning. Okay. Not staying stuck. And I know this because I'm a lifelong learner. And so that's how I know you can stay stuck in a cycle of learning and learning and learning and learning, but you never really step out and start like generating that income, which is what you're called to do now. Okay. So we got all the certifications we need. Now let's get the money, right? Let's make this money that we're called to make and impact the lives that we're called to impact. Carmen says, Jesus said to the disciples, you can give me, right. Exactly. Yes. Right. Like y'all, like, he came out, they were sleeping. He was like, y'all can't even pray with me for just an hour. Like, give me an hour. So yes, Carmen, that's a very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. It's a very powerful reminder. Exactly. Nevertheless, nonetheless, anyhow, we're going to show up, right? That's the mindset you got to have when it comes to your business. Even if you work a full-time job, right? Show up, do amazing at your job. Do the work that you need to do, right? I'm not a fan of being at work and doing business stuff unless it's your lunch break or a break, or unless your boss is like, hey girl, once you get your work done, you can work on your business stuff or whatever. I'm a fan of showing up, doing your job wholeheartedly, because these people are paying you, right? You want to show up, you want to do your job the right way. If you have a lunch break, I know somebody who built a seven-figure business by taking her lunch break, and instead of going to lunch, she would go to her car and get on the phone with potential clients and close sales. And that's what she would do for her lunch break. She would just go, and if she could eat a sandwich in the car or whatever, because she was so compelled by her future that she was like, I'm not playing any games. I got 30 minutes for my lunch break. That's enough for me to do a sales call. And that's what she would do. She would book sales calls during her lunch break. So even if you work a full-time job, don't come home and just ignore your business. Even if you're tired, if there's something that you can do and say, you know what, I'm tired, but let me just take 15 minutes and just think about what my next post is going to be. Like whatever you can like squeeze out here and there. Now, I'm not saying don't rest, okay? So, because listen, a good nap and rest is very important for your mind. It's important for your body. But I'm saying if you come home and you're like, you know what, I'm tired, but you know what, I can take 30 minutes and do this, and then I can go take my nap, right? And that's what I mean by like, you just really got to get relentless and you got to get committed. And so, on one of our trainings, our 8 o'clock trainings, I asked people to just post in the comments. Let me know if you're a really busy person. Type yes in the comments, okay? We had a few people say yes, and I'm like, I just wanted to do that just to show all of us that we're all busy, right? And it's not something that, I'm not the only person who's busy. You're not the only person who's busy. All of us are busy. We got a lot going on in life, right? But if everybody is busy, then how are some people thriving and some are not? Okay. Some people are busy, but they're busy with the right stuff. That's the difference. If you're busy, first of all, you've got to use the time that you have wisely. And then the other thing is you gotta, make sure you're setting aside your time for what's important. So if you work your job and you say, okay, listen, you know, even if you have to say, you know what, let me get off my job, let me take me a nap, and then I'm gonna get up and work on my business. Don't give your time and energy to your business and then not give time and energy to your job. Okay. You want to make sure you're actually doing what you got to do. I'm the kind of person, and I laugh at myself all the time because one of my clients is in the fitness space. And I know she would say, you shouldn't get your energy from coffee. But I'm not ashamed to sit here and say, I do get my energy from coffee because I feel like the Lord created this beautiful being. And then not only did he create this beautiful being, he somehow he blessed somebody to figure out that this bean is inside of this berry. Did y'all know that coffee actually comes from like a berry? Yo, like it is the most like it's the strangest thing, but like the coffee bean is actually inside this berry looking thing. That's how it starts out. And I'm like, I just feel like the Lord just created this beautiful bean so that I can get energy from it. So I'm always like I depend on Jesus and coffee. But I'm the kind of person if I'm tired, I will say, you know what? Okay, let me take a little nap. All right, now I have my nap. Let me get me some give me a cup of coffee and I gotta get this stuff done for my business tonight, right? But you gotta find a balance between making sure you're resting and not burning out and doing the things that you need to do. So if you're setting aside that 1 hour, if you have a power hour where you're like, okay, for this 1 hour, I'm gonna be pitching to podcasts, pitching for collaborations, pitching for speaking engagements. That's what I'm doing on Tuesday night. So let's say every Tuesday night you get off work, you take your nap, and then you get up and you send your pitches out, right? So then let's say after you do that, let's say on Wednesdays and Thursday nights you're just engaging on other people's content. So this is what I mean by like having a plan for your visibility, right? And these are all organic ways to do this that takes time. But once you get your rhythm and once you get momentum, oh my goodness, you will be surprised at how many people come back and follow you and connect with you and they sign up for your your freebie. Imagine you on Instagram engaging with people for 30 minutes, a day, or 3 days out of the week, however you're able to do it. Imagine the people that are going to click on your profile and see the link to your freebie and click on that freebie and join your email list. Y'all, I'm telling you, you don't need all the fancy bells and whistles. You just need focus. You need to focus on what you got to do to increase your visibility. Okay. So that all goes into using your time wisely, because getting booked on podcasts, engaging with people on social media, that's all low hanging fruit that's available to anyone right now if you put the time and the effort forth to get it done. Okay. So we talked about podcasting. We talked about engaging on other people's content, whether it's you engaging on your ideal client's content or you engaging on a person's content who's gathering your ideal client. So I started talking about John Maxwell earlier. So for example, I know that some of my clients have been through John Maxwell's trainings. So guess what happens? If I go and comment on John Maxwell's stuff, guess what? My ideal client is there. When they see me engaging, if I'm giving helpful insight, great post does not get anybody excited. But if you provide something meaningful, that gets people to click on your comment and click on your profile, right? So that's what I mean by like engaging with meaningful and a valuable response on other people's content. Y'all, it goes a long way. I think this is one of the most slept on ways to get visibility, to be seen. But like I said, you got to be consistent with it, and you just got to set your time aside and stick with it. And the other thing that you can do with, now I'm gonna say, I want to talk about three different ways, but I want to also talk about really quickly the direct messages. We talked about this on our 8 o'clock training, but connecting with people in the DMs also is a way to get seen, but it's more up close and personal. And one of the simplest ways that I talked about doing this is when you have, like if you have a Facebook group and you welcome people when they join your Facebook group, you send them a welcome message saying, "Hey, welcome to the Facebook group." Boom, that starts the relationship, right? That starts the relationship. Carmen says, "Let's get this money right. Have an abundant week, ladies." All right, Carmen, have a good one. So, y'all, so DMs is another way. Connecting with people in the DMs is another great way to get seen, get visibility, and connect with people, because relationships go a long way. Okay. Building relationships with people goes a long way and builds trust quickly. Okay. So, but the other thing is, so we talked about getting booked on podcasts and things like that. The other thing I want to say for how to level up your visibility is with collaborations. Okay. Collaborating with other people. Two of my clients who graduated from my program, they did a collaboration recently and it was so awesome. Like I enjoyed it very much. These two ladies came together. They had a topic. They came together. They served their audience, and it was really awesome. So you can collaborate with people who they could be in the same space as you, or they could be in a different space. This example of the two clients who graduated from my program, one of them works in the fitness space, and she focuses on like being healthy, but she also focuses on being healthy in a way of taking care of yourself, saying no when you need to, and things like that. And they came together. And then my other clients talks about wealth building and planning for retirement and things like that. And they came together to talk about budgeting and how to save your money and things like that. And it just flowed together so beautifully. And so that's an example of a collaboration. And so when you book collaborations, you're getting in front of that person's audience and they're getting in front of your audience. So what we used to do, and this is something that I will highly encourage as well, is to do like we used to call them like a swap. So a swap is when let's say you and I are going to do a swap. I would go live with you to your audience, and then on another day, or even right after, you would go live with me to my audience. And so that's like us doing a swap. Those are very powerful as well, because you're getting in front of other people's audience and you're leveraging that to grow. Okay, so three of the main things that I've talked about with leveling up your visibility organically. For those of you who are starting and you're like, listen, I'm not ready to invest in ads yet, but I still want to, I still want to make some really nice income. this is for you. Okay. So number one is just making sure you got a plan. And I gave an example of what a plan looks like. So you want to have a plan for your visibility. So um the other thing, so once you got your plan, what you're going to do on each night and how much time you're going to allot to it. So you want to focus on getting yourself pitching yourself for podcasts, spend a little time engaging on some of your ideal clients' content, as well as people who are gathering your ideal client. You want to engage on their content. And then you also want to think about what kind of collaborations you can do. So getting yourself booked for podcasts, working, engaging on other people's content, and then finding collaborations that you can do with other people, so you can get in front of their audiences as well. So those are just three, y'all. The opportunities are like limitless, but those are just three really powerful ways you can increase your visibility without you spending a dime on ads, but making sure you have a solid plan and staying consistent. That those are the keys to those methods being successful. Okay. So, all right. So you guys, guess what? So yes, I'm going live today because I go live every Thursday, but I'm also going to be live tonight at 8 o'clock. So we talked about on the first day we talked about mindset, and then we last night we talked a little bit about what you can things that you can send to your email list, and we talked about the overall picture of building your brand, your empire online, and we also talked about how to launch a program. We also went into detail about other things around your email list, building your audience. So the second night was all about audience building. So we've been really going in on some really awesome topics for building your online empire. So if you're interested in catching any of those replays, you can find them in the Facebook group. You can also find them on the Facebook page, or you can scroll up on my LinkedIn and you'll find them there. Now, for those of you who want more help with the stuff that we've been talking about all week, I want you to consider meeting me in Atlanta in April, where I'm going to be teaching you how to do these things in detail. Okay. So remember when I said my big goal is to help you make money? This is an investment that's going to help you to make money if you do the stuff that I'm teaching you how to do. I'm going to teach you how to close a sale. We're going to talk about your brand messaging. I'm going to show you how to create your program offers. I'm going to teach you from A all the way to Z how to launch those program offers and so much more. But this is a money making event. If you apply this stuff, you're going to walk away knowing how to make money and bring that income into your business. So it's not just something that you're going to invest in just to be able to, add to the list of titles that you already have. Most of us have so many certifications and things that we can flex if and when needed. But this particular event is designed to help you make money. And I promise you, if you do the stuff, you will be successful. Now, I can't say when you're going to be successful or how much money you're going to make. I would never say, oh, you're going to make this much money. But what I can tell you is that you will be successful if you apply the stuff that I'm teaching. Okay. But it's going to be different for everybody, right? Everybody's level of how much money that they're bringing in and all that's just, is according to the person, their skills, how they're applying and things like that. But I can tell you with the stuff that I teach, if you apply it, you will be successful. You will be able to get a return on your investment if you apply the stuff that we're talking about. Okay. So if you're interested in getting a spot in our Atlanta event, just shoot me a DM and let me know. Or you can find the link. If you scroll up and you see some of those videos, you'll find the link to go ahead and grab your spot. The seating is limited because it is an intimate event. This is not one of those big events where there's going to be 1,000 people and you can't get your questions answered because there are 50 other people in front of you who have questions. This is an intimate event, and so seating is limited. So if you're interested, let me know so that I can make sure we secure your spot. Other than that, you guys, I'll be live again tonight at 8 o'clock in the same place, 8 o'clock Eastern, and we'll continue talking about how to turn your expertise into an online empire. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see y'all tonight. And then I'll be back here next Thursday at the same time in the same place. Have a great one, and I'll see you again soon.